Hey everybody, welcome to TGC Radio. I'm your host, Jonathan, and joining me today is our treasurer, Curtis. How are you doing today, man?
How are you, man? I'm excited. This is my first time being on a podcast, man. I'm excited.
Oh, okay. You nervous a little bit?
Most definitely. I'm most definitely nervous. First time. Well, I've done a podcast type of thing before, but it was more about sports, so it's gonna be interesting.
Right. So, did you talk about League of Legends during that podcast at all? The esports? Because we've got a lot of League of Legends stories today.
I saw, man. The League of Legends has been trying to really come back and get everybody booming about it, even on their phones.
Right. Yeah. There's a League of Legends Wild Rift mobile game that's coming out soon, and you can download it now in the American region. That started very recently on March 29th. So if you haven't had a chance to download the game yet and play it, there you go. So, have you tried playing it at all?
Actually, I've never played League of Legends before on PC, but I'm still thinking about it. If it ends up being pretty good, I'll probably download it and play it for myself, and that might help me get into playing League of Legends like actually on my PC.
Yeah. I've never played League of Legends either, but last time I talked about League of Legends Wild Rift on this podcast, I was doing an episode with Dylan, and Dylan, from what I understand, is a big League of Legends fan, and we were talking a lot about some of the differences between League of Legends PC and Wild Rift, like how the maps are a lot smaller and the pacing is faster since it's a mobile game, because you don't want the games to go on for too long or anything like that. So,
Yeah.
and right now they have a lot less champions than the PC version, of course, because they have to adapt a lot of the champions into the mobile version of the game. So, do you know if they've announced any kind of competitive or ranked for League of
Oh
Legends?
no, I
Wild Rift?
haven't. I haven't seen anything other than I see people talking about like, oh, they're already like pro level at a game, and I don't know how they would figure that out yet, and other than just playing it a whole bunch. But
Yeah. Um, yeah, that's funny. People are already like, I'm a pro at this game. I mean, I'm only curious because the have you heard of the new Rocket League mobile game that's coming out? Rocket League Sideswipe.
oh, I haven't heard about that.
Yeah, that's gonna have a ranked mode, just like uh, the other version of Rocket League, like the console version. So that's why I was wondering, like, would they ever consider maybe adding a League of Legends Wild Rift ranked mode? I'm sure they would.
Yeah, they probably will in the future once they get enough people. They want to keep people interested.
Yeah, and I was also talking with Dylan on that other episode about how I was wondering if maybe changes for the mobile version of League of Legends may ever go back to the PC version. Like maybe if there's a change that people really like, they could actually implement it in the PC version too.
Yeah, I
So
can most definitely see, especially once they start like buffing and nerfing certain characters. Yeah, I feel like they would definitely use it just because you could get a lot more playtime because the speed of a game is so much faster on the mobile than the PC version.
yeah, so it's interesting. I think League of Legends Wild Rift will be a lot more interesting once it actually fully releases and we can see how it'll interact with like the PC version and whether or not there'll be a supported ranked mode. But the other League of Legends news is that there's a new champion called Gwen coming to the PBE, and I don't know anything about Gwen. I haven't seen anything about her because, like I said, I don't follow the League of Legends news. Do you know? Have you seen anything about Gwen?
Oh, I haven't heard anything, but other than when I read the article, I saw that her weapon is a pair of scissors, like a giant pair of scissors, which was interesting.
Wait, what? A giant pair of scissors?
Yeah, that's what it looks like, unless I was looking at it wrong last night, but it looks like a giant pair of scissors.
Oh yeah, I'm looking at the tweet now, and yeah, that's definitely a giant pair of scissors. And they even say
And
she's
then
ready
they
to make the
even,
cut.
yeah, they even say she's ready to make the cut. That's
That's
interesting. I mean, I don't know what other legends are in League of Legends, but I mean, it's an interesting weapon. And then she obviously has some type of magical powers, but
I I will say it doesn't shock me too much because I don't know much about any of the other champions that are in the game. Uh, but I do know that last year I think I wrote an article about the new champion they're adding at that time, and she was literally like a K-pop star. Like she was a member of a K-pop band, and her whole thing was like music, and she would use her music to uh, have support abilities and things like that. She's basically a support champion.
yeah.
And I mean, that's already really zany. Like if you look up, I don't remember her name, but if you look up gameplay of her, like she's literally like floating around on a mobile concert stage, just jamming. So
Oh yeah.
I guess the giant pair of deadly scissors is like the least zany thing compared to that. So, but yeah, if you're interested in playing with Gwen, she's now available on the PBE for League of Legends on PC. So, and the other big story is that Outriders is now finally released. Came out on April 1st, which I don't know much about Outriders, but I know there's been a lot of hype around it. Do you know more about it? Maybe.
I don't know much about Outriders either, but when I was reading and watched the trailer, I mean, it looks crazy, man. Like I was never a big Destiny guy, but I'm definitely gonna have to check out Outriders for sure.
Oh, okay. So you think Outriders might actually offer a little bit more than Destiny did? Because from what I understand, it's another RPG looter shooter, just like
Yeah.
Destiny, but the difference is that it's third person instead of first person. So I've never been a big Destiny fan either. I tried playing Destiny 2 with my friends, and I did not like it very much. Did you try Destiny?
I haven't, but when I used to hang out with my friends, Ryan, shout out to Ryan because he's in the Air Force now. But he would play Destiny. Like he would come home from school and play Destiny for like 5-6 hours every day. Like he was like religiously a Destiny fan.
Wow, that's crazy. Um, I I mean, for me personally, the guns just did not sound right. Like, I'm one of those people that when it comes to FPS, I really prefer like classic older FPS styles and approaches to game design, where it's more about using big fun weapons and not so much about balancing everything, like Call of Duty
Mm-hmm.
and Destiny try to do. I like a lot more like Doom, Duke Nukem, stuff like that. That's just more about having fun than anything else. Uh, so I just feel like Destiny didn't really hit that sweet spot for me with the guns. They didn't really feel very fun to use, and it just got so repetitive after a while. Like I think a lot of people really do like the looting and grinding that comes with games like Destiny and Outriders, but for me personally, it gets too repetitive way too quick. Um, have you ever played like any looter shooter before that might like maybe Borderlands?
I've played when they gave it out for one of the PlayStation free games of the month or whatever. I downloaded it and I played it for maybe like 2 or 3 days. I played it for like a couple hours every day, but maybe it's just too much for me. But having to look at every stat on the gun and its worth and its rare, I don't know, something like that. I'm not really into. Like I don't play a whole lot of video games now, but like if I want to play something easy and I can have fun with this, I can play Fortnite for hours because it's just the easiest thing ever. Like maybe it's just too much behind it with the what you have in your backpack and how much money you go around and collect and stuff. But I don't know.
Yeah,
It's
I
just not that. I'm not that. I don't want to put myself that much into a game where like I can memorize what stats are gonna have like just by looking at it. I guess.
Yeah, because the thing with Fortnite is that it only depends on the color of the rarity of the gun, right? Like all you have to do is just look at the color and then you know, okay, this gun's better than this gun, right? Pretty much. Um, and I mean, for me personally, I definitely feel that. Like I was actually talking with some of my friends a couple of days ago where I was like, I prefer games you can just pick up and play. Like I don't want to have a game that like it's not that I don't want a game that doesn't force me to think, but it's I want a game that's when I do have to think about it, it's intuitive. Like if you think about Call of Duty, it's very intuitive. Like don't run out behind cover if you know there's an enemy like probably right out in front of you. You know what I mean? Or don't
Yep.
just don't do things like that. Like it's still
And if
very
you're
intuitive.
playing, if you're playing on a very small like indoor map, you know not to use a sniper rifle.
Yeah, like, you use an SMG or a shotgun. It's like, you don't have to think about it too hard. Whereas if you look at games like Civilization or Hearts of Iron 4 or Crusader Kings, I just can't get into those series because it's like I have to sit here and like go through all these menus and know what everything does, come up with all these strat. It's like, bro, this is too much. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. Like when James was streaming, he was streaming Gundam, and I tried to watch it. I was like, James, I'm gonna be honest with you, I got no idea what I'm watching right now. Like I could see him moving people and then having people attack and stuff, but I was like, I don't understand any of this. There's way too much for me.
Yeah, I mean, and that's not to say it's bad when a game is like that. It's just like you have to be very dedicated and put a lot of time and effort into learning what everything does. And to like defend a game like Crusader Kings 3, they do have a tutorial for you that shows you what all the menus do, but like to even go beyond that, you still have to play it a lot. And I feel like watch other people play it. Like, have you ever played Warframe?
No, I have not.
So Warframe's like a free to play game, and but they have no tutorial for anything. I mean, they have pseudo tutorials that are just like little pop ups that say this is what this does, but there's no like tutorial that teaches you any of the basics of the game really. And that game has been like developed on and off as like a live service game for like I think almost 10 years now. So they've added so much stuff that it's like I played it with one of my friends for months and I still didn't understand like what all the damage stats and everything for the guns meant. Like it was just so confusing.
That's
Um,
crazy.
yeah. So I mean, I definitely think it can be bad in the case of Warframe, but in other situations like Civ or CK3, you just have to learn it. Um, but other than all that, the other story we have is Among Us finally got a new map. Um, so, have you played Among Us?
Man, I was so excited for this. Once I saw that they're like, "Yay, we're coming with a new map in the first quarter of 2021." I was like, "Oh, I gotta follow them on Twitter and put the notifications on." Because when Among Us first came out, I played it a little bit, but then like once the hype got into it, I had to play it, and I played it. My brother was playing it, my sister was playing it, and we were just it was like every day we get home and it's like, hey guys, it's 10 o'clock. We're gonna play Among Us until we go to sleep or whatever. But I'm so excited for the new map, and I've played it a couple times. And maybe it's just because it was so early. I think I played it the day it came out,
hmm
and like I'm still trying to get used to it because it is humongous, man.
Oh, so would you say it's a lot? Oh, okay. I'm looking at the tweet. Yeah, it says it's their biggest map yet. It's a lot bigger than all the other maps. That's interesting. Um,
Like if, even like the biggest map, which I think is Polis, it's still like at least like another 25-30% bigger than that map. So, and it's crazy with all the ladders and the little hovering I can't even think of it now. The little hovering thing that they added that
mhm.
you can only use to one side and you can't call it. So like if someone's chasing you, you're trying to run to it. If it's already on the other side, then you're just stuck.
Yeah, I remember. I watched the trailer for Airship, and then I saw one of this moving platform. I'm assuming that's what you're talking about, like the moving platform that goes between different parts of the map, but can only be on one
Yeah.
side at a time. Like in the trailer, I saw someone moving on, like standing on it as it was slowly moving to the side, and I was like, if you got stuck on that with one other person, you'd be so screwed.
Or like if you're using it and you get like halfway and then someone comes up and waits for you on the other side, then you definitely can't do anything. There's nothing you can do at that point. You have to just
Yeah.
like whatever happens and just try to run around. I don't know, but
That's hilarious. I have played Among Us too. I played like I actually some of my friends created a Discord server, and just to find people to play Among Us with, like among all their friends. So it's basically friends of friends of friends just all joining this Discord server. And I played with them a few times, but I haven't played it at all in like months since then. But it's a really fun game. Um,
oh yeah, definitely. Because like there's even a point where when I came home from school and stuff, I got my mom to play it, and she was like, "It's not." It's like she was like, "Well, I don't even know what I'm doing." I was like, "Mom, just walk around and just start hitting stuff." I was like, "If you're a killer, just walk around killing people. Like that's all you have to do." And she played a couple games, and she was like, "I kind of like this." And then next thing you know, she's sitting in her room screaming at us because one of us killed her or whatever, and it was just hilarious, man.
that
It's
is
like,
hilarious.
it's, yeah.
The only bad thing I've ever heard about Among Us is that the pubs are really awful. Like to play this game, you pretty much have to get a group of either like you've been doing, like your family or your friends, get them to play it with you because if you try to play in pubs, apparently people just are really bad. Like they don't.
Oh yeah, see. Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, some of these people, they're just like you'll get killed first, and then like you finish your task or whatever, and then you fall around as a ghost, like looking at people, and you're just sitting there like, yo, what are you doing? Like, why are you just gonna watch him do that? And then like I saw this one time, oh, where was it? It was in like office of I think the first map. And I literally watched a dude walk into a room, killed someone. Someone else walked into the room and then watched the killer vent and didn't even report the body. They just walked out like they didn't see anything. I'm like, yo, what are you doing, bro? There's one imposter left. You got the man red-handed. He just gonna let him like leave and not say anything.
Oh
I thought that
my
was crazy.
god. That's hilarious. So since you've actually played Airship, I guess I want to ask because you were talking about how big it is. How would you say it actually compares, like in terms of quality? Like, do you think it's one of the better maps in the game, or do you think it could be the best map? Like, just how does it compare to the other maps for you? Just on initial
Oh,
impression.
compared to the for the first three maps that they had, I was kind of like if or ands about. So like the first map that everyone plays on, which is the actual like spaceship map, I that's obviously that's the number one. That's gonna be like a classic map.
Hmm.
But for oh gosh, I'm trying to think of the names because I don't remember. I don't ever remember the names. I just think about what they are.
The
So the first
locations.
one's Skeld. That's the airship map, or not the airship. That's the spaceship map. It's like the classic map that everybody plays on. Like that's what streamers play on and stuff. And I feel like that's always gonna be number one because it's a classic. I feel like airship is pushing a hard like second place with all four maps because Polis, I'm kind of like if and about Polis. I don't like some of the tasks that are on there, like the temp task and stuff. So that's like three. But Mira HQ, which is the one where you're on like the base on Earth or whatever.
Mm.
That's yeah, it's airship. I feel like if they update it and change some of the tasks or bugs that are in it, I feel like it'll be second. Is putting it better than the other two maps. I feel like it's a scaled set too high of a bar for it to beat it.
Yeah, I think there's always going to be like with anything like that. It's just gonna be like some nostalgia for the game's classic maps, original map, like but that being the very first one. So, uh, with Airship, I'm interested to see how often they'll be able to add new maps now. Because from what I understand, they were developing Among Us 2, and then when this But that was before Among Us 1 blew up. So after it blew up, they're like, well, we're canceling Among Us 2 and we're just going to be updating Among Us 1 now, which, I mean, that was obviously a better move for them as developers.
Yeah, because I was glad when the developers put out the thing and they were like, hey guys, we were developing an Among Us 2, but since you guys love this one so much, we decided to drop that entire project altogether and just stay and support the first one, which I thought was, I mean, it's not like it killed them to do that, because they do have in-game purchases like cosmetics and stuff, but for them to say we're just going to cancel this altogether and go back and support Among Us and just this is going to be our game and we're going to update it and make it better for everybody, I was really proud of them for that.
Yeah, because it is a bold business move. I mean, because you are dropping what you've been working on up until that point, and you're going back and putting all your like money on what you had before because it blew up. So yeah, it's definitely like something they had to go out of their way to do. I definitely agree with that.
And then I also like that they added new tasks and hats and stuff, which I mean, we already knew they were gonna do that. Just boost the amount of cosmetics, and they even added some more free hats. They felt bad for us waiting for so long, but I didn't feel bad because they said first quarter and they released it in the first quarter of the year. So it's not like they oh yeah, we're gonna have to push it back to like July or something. Like that would be different. But
yeah,
they didn't I was worried about times. I knew they were I knew they were gonna do it. And then they also added accounts for reporting people that are either like rude or toxic or disrespectful. So I was hoping they did that, but I'm glad that they did. I mean, I haven't had to report anybody yet, but I know some games when you play at like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, there's some super toxic people on there.
Damn. I'm sure. Hopefully not as toxic as some other games like Call of Duty or Overwatch, but yeah.
No, well, they'll probably stay away from voice chat just to stop that.
Yeah. I mean, and I know some people, like, I think when it comes to cosmetics, like, some people get really antsy about games that have lots of cosmetics just because it's more often than not closely tied to, like, microtransactions and, like, loot boxes. But, I mean, isn't Among Us free to play?
Oh, yeah. Among Us is free to play. When you get into a game, you can pick any map you want to play on. When you actually get into the lobby, you get to choose your color, and they also give you free hats. So yeah. I have not spent a single dime on Among Us, and I probably won't, just because the cosmetics don't change anything. You're either a crewmate or an imposter. It's not like it doesn't increase your chances of winning a game or anything. It's just for something people want to. Like the same thing with Fortnite. Like my little brother loves Fortnite. When I play Fortnite, I could care less what my character looks like. I'm just here to kill people, win a game.
Yeah. And I mean, like, that's why I kind of say is, like, I don't have a problem with games that are free to play and they have microtransactions, because if they're free to play, then you have to have a free to play business model. You have to get your money somewhere, right? Because if you think about, like, Fortnite, for example, like, it costs money to maintain all those servers. All those people playing Fortnite, they have to maintain and pay for those servers, and like they also have to pay their devs to keep updating the game, and they have to keep paying like graphic designers to design all the skins and everything. Like it costs a lot of money, and they can't just have a game for free and then not have microtransactions and cosmetics in there too. Because like you said, the good thing about the Fortnite cosmetics and the Among Us cosmetics is that they're not pay to win. They don't change anything about the game that would give you an advantage over anyone else. It's purely for cosmetic. And if you're paying, honestly, if you wanted to, you could look at it as, well, if I'm paying for this skin, I'm also supporting the devs because I like the game, kind of thing. I feel like that's fine. But I feel like, when games like Call of Duty that are released for like $60, $70 come out completely broken, and then they have a microtransaction store filled with all these cosmetic bundles that come out like every week, that's when it's like, okay, this is stupid.
Like like in Call of Duty, where like, oh, you buy this bundle and there's this new gun that we just added to the game, I'm like, yo, this gun is broken. Like, there's no way that if I go against someone that bought this bundle, there's no way I beat them because like the gun's just
Mhm.
it's too overpowered. It reloads too fast. The clip size is too big. Like it's just ridiculous.
Oh yeah, and I remember I played Black Ops 4 multiplayer. Black Ops 4 was horrible. Like not only you couldn't even outright buy the gun. Eventually, after Modern Warfare came out, they um they dialed back on the microtransactions, or no, sorry, the loot boxes, and they added a way for you to grind for a few days and earn a new DLC weapon that was previously locked behind loot crates. But before that, like there was no way to earn them, and people would get the most broken, overpowered guns in the game from just like loot boxes. Like there was it was a gun from Black Ops 3 originally, but they added it to Black Ops 4, and it was broken. Like it was this SMG that just deletes you. Like if you joined a game of Black Ops 4 multiplayer, I guarantee you, anybody who is rushing and running around the map and using that playstyle, they're going to be using that SMG because it just deletes people. Um,
Yeah, no. I mean, I've always been a Call of Duty boy. I never was really big into Halo, even though I had an Xbox. Um, I had a PlayStation 2 and then an Xbox, and now I have a PS4. But I was always a Call of Duty boy, and after like Black Ops 3, I was like, okay, and then I hated Call of Duty Ghost. And then I got Modern Warfare. Then they added the Warzone, and I was like, all right, I like this. And then once I saw Cold War, I was like, the only thing I really want on Cold War is a good campaign. So I'm waiting until the price comes down for like when the next Call of Duty goes to come out, and then I'm gonna get Cold War just to play the campaign. But it doesn't really hit me on like the it factor for its multiplayer just because it looks like stuff they already did. Like they've already done, like they may not have done Cold War specifically, but they basically went back to what looks like Black Ops gameplay. So
Yeah, I think Modern Warfare was great. Like I actually loved Modern Warfare's multiplayer, and I was really
yeah, and
upset.
I like the campaign too. The campaign was
Yeah,
really good.
I've heard so many good things about the campaign. Never played it myself, but I've also heard that the campaign for Cold War is really good. I haven't played it, but I have played Cold War Zombies extensively, and I really love Cold War Zombies. Like I think it's a very good zombies mode. Gameplay wise, story wise, it's really bland compared to what they used to do. But I mean, when the gameplay is good, I guess that doesn't really matter too much. But I
Yeah,
will
like
say,
my little brother loves zombies,
mm,
and like even he was like, you want to play the campaign? I want to play zombies, but I don't know if we should right now. Like maybe we should wait in the future once it gets updated, or like it's a little more balanced. Which I was like, you're right about that because he played like I've watched him sit down and play like oh gosh, what's it called? One where it's the underground town map or whatever. I've
yeah,
watched him play that and get to like round like 130
buried.
by himself and stuff. Yeah, buried. And I've watched him play that. I'm like, yo, I could never. Like I love Call of Duty and I've played some zombies, but once it gets past like round 50, I'm like, bro, this is boring.
Oh no, I'm the same way. Don't worry. I love zombies to death, but I am not a high rounder. Like there's only certain like a subgroup in the zombies community that are, they go for high rounds like that. I can't do that. It's like you said, after 50 rounds, I'm done. I'm done with. Like I would like to get to 100 one day, but that's going to be such a chore for me. That's not fun for me. That's more like a chore just to say I did it. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, because like by the time it's round 50, like you have so many points, every door is unlocked, you've
yeah.
got exactly what you want out the mystery box, you probably pack a punch it too. Like at that point there's nothing much you could do but try to get to a high round at that point.
Yeah, you're just training. Um, and the problem with Black Ops 4 Zombies is that like it was way too easy in the beginning. Like so once so what for me what was really fun about Black Ops 3 Zombies and the older Zombies is like you'd have to work hard to unlock everything on the map and get yourself set up to get to those higher rounds. And that was the fun part. But then in Black Ops 4, they made it way too easy because they gave you way too much right at the start. Like there's not even any jug in Black Ops 4 Zombies. You just start with like jug health. So
That's
it's like,
crazy.
yeah, and then you have a specialist weapon too already right at the beginning. Like you don't even have to unlock it like you did in Black Ops 3. In Black Ops 3, you get to do like little side Easter eggs on every map to unlock that map's specialist weapon. But in Black Ops 4, you just pick it in your class loadout before the game starts. You already have it, and it's like you're making yourself way too broken and overpowered right at the beginning. They're like
Yeah, no, I like you drop you into the middle of the map. You got a pistol and that's it. That's
yep,
what I like.
yep. And I mean, like even in Black Ops Cold War Zombies, when you're with your class loadout, you can start with any gun you want. But they found a way to balance it a lot better because there's actual rarity in zombies now, just like Fortnite. It's color coded, and you always start with the worst, like rarity tier as your starting weapon. So you still have to actually buy wall weapons and spin the box to get better rarities as the rounds get higher, because the better rarities do more damage. And even if you want to keep your starting weapon, there's a way for you to upgrade the rarity on your gun, but you still have to like find the materials for it. You have to like grind it as you're playing through the rounds. So they found a nice way to balance it. That's why I say Black Ops Cold War Zombies is like a really good zombies mode gameplay wise. It's just for me, the story and maps are very bland compared to like Black Ops 4 and Black Ops 3. That's the only problem I have. But yeah, and then the last story we have for today is that E3 is it's been officially confirmed to be a digital only event. So that's interesting. What do you think about that?
I've never been to E3, although I did promise my brother that one of these years we would go eventually. But
Yeah.
I'm excited that it's digital. Obviously, I care about everybody's safety, and that even though we have all these vaccines out, you can still get COVID-19, and you
Mhm.
could still get sick or end up in the hospital or die some other way. But I'm glad they did digital. They cared about everybody's safety. And then I also like that it's not behind a paywall either.
Oh, right. Like so they're just gonna stream it and everyone can watch it. I think that's how it should be if it's
Yep.
digital. Like you shouldn't have to have a paywall. I never thought about that, but yeah, if they did do that, I'd be like, what the fuck? That's not cool.
Yeah, when they first tweeted it, some high journalist, I don't even know who he was or whatever, but he retweeted and was like, "Yeah, it's probably gonna be behind some stupid like extremely high paywall or whatever." And then they retweeted his tweet. It was like, no, it's gonna be free for everybody, and like completely blew him up. And I was like, I understand why they would want to put it behind a paywall, like, or like why someone would, just because all the money you would miss out from like selling food and selling tickets to the actual like E3 event. But they were like, hey, we're gonna get plenty of people to watch the stream anyway. If we do it digital, we care, it shows we care about everybody's safety or whatever. Plus, you're still gonna get people to watch it. With
Yeah.
online, you could be sitting at work and watch E3.
What they could do to make up for some of that lost revenue is they could just, and I'm sure they already do this in the past, but just this year specifically, since they're not getting anything from ticket sales or food sales, they can just charge money for any publishers that use a spot in the stream. Just like how like people companies who want ads played on or aired on TV channels, they have to pay for that spot in the broadcast. So they could do the same thing with E3 is like the Xbox, Nintendo, Capcom, whoever. They can just pay to have their spot on the stream, and they can pay a certain amount of money depending on how much they want to charge them. You know. So
And I don't know how like the stream is gonna work, like whether there's gonna be like little side streams or whatever. But I know that they're also having people co-stream it, so like just so that they can spread the actual stream more and have like people from like Twitch or YouTube or Facebook stream it. But I saw that on their website you can apply to be a co-streamer, which I think is good.
Oh, that's awesome. That's actually really cool. I like how companies are doing more to kind of reach out with like well not even just company. What I meant to say was like mostly like video game publishers or developers or companies. Like they seem to be trying to get a lot more in touch with their online like Twitch and YouTube communities because those communities are usually the ones that are the most supportive toward the game. And so I think that's another way to do that. But for E3, just invite big influencers on YouTube and Twitch to co-stream because I mean their viewers obviously care about E3 just like they do. So
And another thing behind that is like if you make a game, like there's someone that streams them playing your game and they play it for like 10 hours every day. I'm not saying like you need to like listen to whatever they say, but if they sit down and play your game for like 10 hours a day, 7 days a week, they're gonna find every little thing wrong with your game. So you could at least hear them out at that point.
yeah, no, for sure. I do think it's a very good way to get feedback. The problem I have though when it comes to feedback is it depends on like who is giving this feedback because the example you just gave where it's like it's a casual streamer, maybe somebody who plays the game a lot, they're obviously going to know a lot about the game and be able to give you good feedback. But when you have a game like Overwatch, for example, that only balances the game according to pro play, I feel like they don't ever want to balance it for the people that actually sit down and play Overwatch, casually.
Like yeah, I would say the casual players that come home and like they play it before they go to sleep, and like that's the last thing they do in their day is play some video games to relax or something.
Right. Like that whole demographic I feel like has been lost recently with a lot of games because I think it's important to remember that even though like let's say you play Apex and you might play ranked and you play it a lot, you keep up with all the patch notes, all the updates. That's not something like most people who play Apex probably do. That's like if someone likes Apex, they may just be in that demographic where they come home from work, play it for a little bit, then go to bed. Not to say they're bad at the game; they could be really good at the game, but they just don't like, they aren't on that level of like dedication, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So, and it's just like I feel like a game like Overwatch, for example, like their balancing has been really pushed toward pro, and that kind of make it more like that can make it harder to play just because like it doesn't really feel as fun anymore. It's more about competitive balancing than anything else. I think that's the dangerous like pitfall that can happen if you don't selectively choose who you get feedback from. I think it's better to get feedback from everybody because the thing we have to keep in mind too is that developers and publishers like they more often than not have a lot of information about their consumers, like about who's playing their game, how long they're playing it when they log in. You know what I mean? Like for example, Call of Duty. I'm sure that after you sign into the game at the main menu, they track how long you're playing it and what you do, like what playlist you go to. They probably know way more about it than we do because like if you think about let's say there's a streamer who plays Call of Duty like 6 hours a day and he's like this is your best playlist, like this playlist sucks, I don't like it. Well, if you look at like the numbers and then it shows like majority of players who log into the game every day go to this playlist that he's saying sucks, you're not going to take it out of the game because
because it's a 1/1,000 type of thing where like all because one person says it's bad and you still have all these people playing it, then it can't be that bad at that point. Like it may not be like his play style or what he likes to play.
Right. Exactly. So, and it's just something to think about. Food for thought, basically. Just think about how much information they actually collect about us when we play their games, because I'm sure
I can imagine.
Yeah.
So the only thing I do is use an SMG or rifle anyway, so it got me pretty down pat. I use a assault rifle or SMG, and then a Semtex, and then I use in Modern Warfare I use the stim. That's it.
Oh, in Modern Warfare, if you weren't using the stem, you were doing something wrong. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have anything against like the flashbangs and stuff, but like
Yeah.
if I have for me to have a tactical that gives me more health, oh no, I'm taking it. 100%
Yeah.
most definitely.
Oh
And
yeah.
it refills your sprint. Oh yeah, I'm using it.
Mhm. I mean, there's no. To me, it's just like it's like you said. There's nothing against the other tacticals you can have in that game, but just the stem is so practical. Like I use that way more because the other tacticals are still situational, right? But the stem, you can use it anytime you take damage and get behind cover quickly, or anytime you just barely escape from
Or like
anything.
if it's a real big map and you want to rush over to the other side, you can run, use all your tactical sprint, and
Hmm.
then stem, and then just keep running. Like it added a whole nother layer to the I'm a rush type of thing. Because like in older games, you just rush, you run, and then when you can't run no more, you just kind of try and go around the edge or find a spot where you can hide and wait for someone. For you to be able to sprint and then use a stem and then keep running, it definitely had. And not only was it good for you, but it had other people be aware. There's like, yo, if someone has a stem, and they're using like just a knife right now, he's probably behind me already at this point.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I'm trying to think of other things with the stem. Like yeah, just that I never even thought about that before. Just using it to rush to the other side of the map because your movement is so slow in Modern Warfare without using tactical sprint. So that's a good way to quickly get to the other side of the map. And then for me, my other class loadout options, I'm sorry, I'm that guy in your lobbies, but I spam C4. I love C4. I just chuck it, blow it up instantly, kill someone right away. I actually get mad if I throw C4 at somebody and they don't die because they have flak jacket.
And I was never. I mean, I tried to do the whole throw and C4 thing, but I feel like it was just so hit or miss with the range of like how close you have to be for it to go off that I just went back to using Semtex. That's always gonna be my
Mm.
favorite lethal, and I'll probably use that until they take it out of a game or they replace it with something else.
Yeah, what I would do is like on Shipment, which is already a clusterfuck of a map. But basically, if I was playing like domination on that, I would just chuck C4 at the B flag and just get like 4 kills
Yeah,
instantly
shit,
with
I
it.
remember. I forgot what it was. I think it was April Fool. I think it was April 1st or something when they were like, when they added shipment. It was like, oh, this is what gamers want, and it's disgusting or whatever.
Yeah.
And it was, I think it was like 12v12 shipment or whatever. Oh my gosh, bro, that it was crazy.
Oh wow, that's hilarious. I didn't know that. I wish I could have
Yeah,
played that because I also saw they added like on April Fools they're like Piccadilly 24/7.
yeah, I saw that. That was funny too.
Yeah, I was like, Piccadilly is not the worst map in the game, but it's definitely second worst.
Oh yeah, most definitely. I can't stand Piccadilly.
Yeah, the worst map in the game was Ania Palace, and it was so bad they even took it out of the game. Unless you're playing
My
ground
gosh,
war.
it was just too big. Like that
Yeah.
map, like for us to spawn, like yeah, you can go like to the edge or like around the edges and like snipe people, but that map was way too big for no reason.
Yeah, no, it was bad. There's a lot of Modern Warfare maps that like they either have space that just feels kind of pointless to have unless somebody wants to find somewhere to hide and camp. You know, that's my only thing with Modern Warfare's maps. Some of them could have been they could have trimmed the fat off the meat basically. They could have
Yeah,
like
because one of my favorite maps that it's so simple to understand is Shoot House. It's got three. It's just a big rectangle with three lines, and then you have two perpendicular lines for people that want to go up top and either snipe or just
mhm.
shut down a whole side of the map. Like that, it's such a simple map, and it's so fun to play. And you can go to any direction and find a lane to go shoot at.
Yep. It's probably the best map in that game. 100%, I would say. because I can't think of any right now that I'd say are just better. Um, so, and the other thing that I've that has been going on recently with the Call of Duty community, just because we're on the topic of Call of Duty, is like the next Call of Duty is coming from Sledgehammer, which is pretty interesting because they were supposed to do last year's Call of Duty, but obviously we got Treyarch and Raven Software with Black Ops Cold War. And now this year's Call of Duty is going to be another Call of Duty World War II game, apparently. Apparently.
I heard about that, and I am so. I mean, I'm not like. I wouldn't say I'm mad. I'm more disappointed than anything because I was like, we just did World War II a couple games ago. Like if it was something like they haven't done a World War II game for like 10 years, I understand because like in the video game industry, a span of 5 years, like the games that are popular now compared to 5 years ago look totally different than what they used to be.
Right.
Like for them to just have they just did World War II and I think like 2017. Yes. It's only been 4 years. So only 4 Call of Duties have come out since then, and now you want to do another World War II game. I don't really see the point of it. I mean, unless I'm wrong and they blow it out the water somehow and it's like the greatest Call of Duty ever, then I might be wrong. But from me having played Call of Duty for so long and the Sledgehammer saying, yeah, we're going to make another Call of Duty World War II, I'm not very excited about it. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah, I don't really. I mean, I've played Call of Duty World War II, but like, it's just so crazy. I think all of this is because of the backlash they got from doing the futuristic settings, which culminated with Infinite Warfare. When that game came out, so many people were upset. So many people were pissed off because it was like basically space. It was just a futuristic space setting like Halo almost, just without all the alien shit. But I think the reason why they've been going back to Modern Warfare and then Cold War and then now World War II is they want to play it safe because they think that if they try to do anything different, they're just going to piss off the whole community. But I mean, apparently it's called, I think, World War II Vanguard. Like Call of Duty World War II Vanguard is supposed to be the full title. And there were some rumors that like they were actually going to do something interesting where like it takes place in an alternate history where World War II didn't end in 1945 and the game is actually in 1946 after the war is still going on, and there's like going to be some different kind of weapons and stuff. Like it would kind of be like an alternate history. And I think that would have been really cool, but I think they came out and were like, no, it's just going to be World War II, which I'm like, okay, now I just think that's going to be boring because I mean there's only so many times you can release a World War II game before it's just like, okay, I want something different. Like even if it's like you said, I mean if it's been 10 years, then sure, but if it's only been like 4, then there's no point because it's just something we saw very recently. You know, like it just. Well, the only thing I will say about Call of Duty World War II that I didn't like is that it was only the European front. Every single map was just like the Allies. Like it's the British versus the Germans or the Americans versus the Germans, and they had one DLC that was like French resistance fighters versus like Nazis in Paris and stuff, or like just in France. But other than that, it was all just straight like European front, and they had one Eastern Front map that I believe was in Stalingrad. Only one. And they didn't have a single Pacific map where you're playing as like the Americans fighting the Japanese. They didn't do any of that. Like to me, World War II was such a big conflict that to only have maps and stuff set during that one part of it is just such a failure. Because I mean there was fighting in Africa, Italy, I mean Greece. I mean, you could include the Japanese, the war between the Japan and China. You know, like, it's just so much you could do, and to limit yourself to just that is, like, so disappointing. And so, because of Sledgehammer, again, I would not be shocked if they just do the same thing again. That's my disappointment.
I mean, like you just said, like, they literally just missed out on a whole layer of World War II, like, because like even like I'm not saying like that's all the game needs to be about, but if they would have had some type of like naval warfare or like if they did dog fighting a little more like it was out in the Pacific, then I feel like it would have added a whole other aspect to the game that would have made it better. Because that's not something that you'll get. All they care about is, oh, here's a map where people would have fought at, and then that's it.
Yeah, it's just so disappointing. But anyways, we talked about a lot today, so I think we'll go ahead and wrap it up. But thank you guys for tuning into this episode, and we'll see you next week. Take care.